your source for news from NAB 2018. Indie Shooter, brought to you by Akidio, Band Pro, Blackmagic Design, Carl Zeiss, Panasonic, and Schneider Optics.
Hi, Clem with Indie Shooter, continuing our coverage of NAB 2018, here with Randy Weddick of Band Pro. And Randy, this is a new streaming device that you guys have for high-end production applications. Talk about it.
This is called the Quine Box IoT. It's a development from this guy I've known for a really long time, Gunlik Groven. He's a Norwegian guy that we worked on a project together similar to this for a couple of years, funded by the EU, and then this is kind of the eventual result of it. This is a cloud streaming workflow box. Basically, it'll take clips directly from the camera. It'll receive the start and stop flags from the camera. It'll take all the relevant metadata off the SDI stream, the scene and take, time code, audio, all that stuff, and it will grab it, put it in the box. There's a 1 terabyte storage device in here. It'll grab a proxy, and you can create a ProRes, you can create H.264, and then connect to a Wi-Fi network or 4G, multiple 4G networks, and can stream out the dailies to a cloud storage device. I mean, to like an Amazon Web Services or an Azure. Basically, as you shoot, and as you start and stop and shoot shots throughout the day, kind of like what you're doing here, it would be immediately stored and then streamed out to a cloud location. So then it can be reviewed by executives, it can be annotated, notes can be made, script supervisor can be connected to it live or after the fact and add in notes through a Movie Slate app, and you can really keep track of stuff, and then all the metadata, all the entry from the metadata is stored back into the device. So basically it's a rolling delivery system. So as you're shooting throughout the day, a drive is being populated with dailies almost instantaneously that then you can rapidly start accessing and cutting and just getting on with it, getting on with your production, getting on with your post-production immediately during your production.
When this goes to the cloud, it sends the files to the cloud. Can they download the files, or are they just like can they just stream it from the cloud?
Well, it depends on your permissions level access. Some people can just look into it. Other people can start manipulating them directly. It's basically set up to work either way, but it's kind of in a cascading level of permissions. And certain people can reach into certain parts of it. Certain people are administrators who can do anything, and certain people can just edit it or add metadata on top of it, or a script supervisor could only just add notes, and a camera assistant could add notes to the camera part. It's all configurable to kind of work however you want it.
And the full res files are going to be stored on your storage device like regular.
Yeah, any of the raw media stuff and any of that, the one light color stuff, a lot of that stuff is still going to be done by your DIT or your download text, your colorist, whatever, like that type of stuff. Post house, that kind of thing. But in terms of rapidly getting things running and populating a point for people to start reviewing clips or even start doing light editorial work, this kind of jumps you ahead, and it's an automated step to take that out of the manual labor of the day.
Yeah, and so I would assume that people, if they're cutting on the proxy files, once they get the full res files, they can just point them back to it and the cut's there.
Yeah, the whole design of this is to make sure that all the files are conformable, so they share the same file name, time code, scene and take information, and also all the relevant metadata that's like coming off of any Arri, Red, Canon, probably Sony and Panasonic very shortly. All this metadata is going to be captured, so it'll be able to match directly back to the raw media.
That's amazing, and I mean, it's so necessary right now as people are wanting to edit on set and stuff like that.
Even you, the stuff you guys are doing here, you understand it directly. Like this would work not only for a high-end cinema application or like a commercial where they have super tight turnaround, but also for like a news or even a any kind of
ENG type
operation. Yeah, exactly.
So in that regard, can it take any type of footage? I see it's hooked up to a RED here, right?
Yeah, it takes an SDI feed and makes 1080 files off of that usually. But another application I forgot to mention is something like a show that's shooting in another country, like and you're in South America and you're shooting, you can link up to this cloud drive, and people in Los Angeles or New York or London or whatever can immediately look at it as well and review it and feel safe that, like, sure, we went out of the country, but I'm able to see these files minutes or seconds later.
It's not just streaming this out and people are seeing it. It's actually going to a cloud-based server where it will live until you take it down. You're not having to stream it every time someone wants to access.
Right. It's not necessarily live streaming. It's streaming storage.
Are these shipping now, or?
Yeah, we're getting the first 2 units right after the show here, and we're going to start showing them around to some different shows. So we've gotten a lot of interest from some of the bigger kind of streaming players, and I think we're going to start seeing these in some shows pretty soon.
You mentioned that smaller productions can utilize this. Do you know a price on this yet?
Price on this unit, I think, is around $9,000 for the base unit here, and then basically it allows you to connect to a streaming service that you would have to set up through, like Amazon or Azure or something like that.
Excellent. And this will be, I guess, available on your website at some point, but it's probably not there now, right? You said it's brand new.
Right, yeah, it's a brand new product for us. So right now the website is Quine, Quine.no, and that's a Norwegian website. But I think we're going to have some information about this on bandpro.com pretty soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Randy.
Thanks very much.
Your source for news from NAB 2018. Indie Shooter. Brought to you by Akidio, BandPro, Blackmagic Design, Carl Zeiss, Panasonic, and Schneider Optics.